What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Aloha Friday, and happy Aloha Friday, everyone. We've made it to the end of the week. We are here. It is time to relax and chill. And guys, as always, you never know who is watching behind the scenes. And we have a guest that has been watching us for quite some time, and we didn't know until we went to Vegas. We got to meet him for the first time. And so today we get to really get to know this person. I can't wait to get this person in the studio. But before we get him in, let me get my wife in the studio. Dee, how are you?
I'm great. It's Friday, and I feel like we haven't done this in a long time, Hinan. Are you ready? It's Aloha Friday. No work till Tuesday.
Oh, that's a copyrighted song, right? You're singing.
I'm singing my version. They say my version. So you go back to work on Tuesday this week because we have a long weekend, right? Memorial Day weekend. What's that?
Remix.
Yes, it's a remix, so don't come after me, YouTube, for copyright strike. But yeah, it's a nice Friday here. Still got sunshine outside, a little bit of rain, drizzles here and there, but overall, really nice day. Yeah, and I can't wait to get our guest up to talk story and
who's in the studio? Who's waiting for us today, Dee?
CryptoCosmo. That was my best attempt. So don't fire me, please. Yeah, we have CryptoCosmo. He has a very interesting PFP that I want to learn about. So yeah, I can't wait to get him on the program when we're ready to bring him up. And just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And be quiet, chats. Don't say anything. Today is Aloha Friday. Aloha Friday. And it is May Day here again in Hawaii, at least for us. So there's a big May Day performance with our daughter. Yeah. And yeah, it was nice to see all the kids perform. And I get to wear all the leis and smell nice.
For 3 hours. 3 hours. This was me just standing. Yeah. I was holding up the bleachers for everyone else.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, nice day. So thank you, everybody, for being here. And yeah, just can't wait to get to talking with him in a little bit. So yeah, stay tuned.
Anything else?
No, go ahead. The floor is yours. Sorry.
Okay. From my understanding, we do have a VeVe supported giveaway. Shout out to VeVe for supporting the stream today, guys. And we will run the giveaway at the end of the stream. So stick around for that.
Stick around.
And I think that's it, Dee. I think we should get him in. Oh, also one more thing, in case you guys didn't see, and I was going to do this on Aloha Friday. It was going to debut, but because it's so long, I did not want to sacrifice quality, but I found a new compression software. So now we're going to be able to watch this tonight at the end of the program as well. If you guys have been following this is the writer. This is episode 4. So we'll do it at the very end of the show. It's like only 6 minutes long, but I found a way to keep the quality and compress the video. So we'll watch that a little bit later. Other than that, let's get our guests into the studio, Dee.
Yes, let's bring him up.
All right, guys, stand by. We will be right back.
Activate the machine. Full power.
Ladies and gentlemen, CryptoCosmo, how you doing, fam? Welcome to the program.
So good. Thanks for having me. So glad to be here.
Let's go. Hey, man, thank you so much for joining us today. And I just gotta say, I'm really stoked to get to know you. I was really surprised when I met you, and I believe we met on the Strip. It was right on Fremont Street. I think it was the entire VeVe fam. It was really loud. And
so loud.
I want to say Dan was there and half the VeVe team, and it was such a good time. But I remember Big Bro was like, "Hey, meet one of our fans," and I'm like, "Okay." And I because I don't ever know who watches, right? Like we find out, and shout out to the membership gang, because we never know who's watching unless someone submits a membership, and then next thing you're like, "Hey, I know you." You've never said anything, so. And that was really interesting to get to meet you before, because I've heard of your name before in socials. I probably heard you in spaces, at least your PFP, I've seen it, but I've never really talked with you or interacted with you before until that day.
Yep.
And that was kind of an eye opener for D and I, because when we do this type of stuff, we just turn the camera on. We never really think anyone's watching. We know who's in chat, right? Because like who interacts, but we never know who's truly watching. And to have a fan that's been kind of in the background come up here and talk with us, it's a special thing for D&I. So thank you for coming and hanging with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me again.
Let's go. And as ladies first, D, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we, like I was mentioning earlier before the show started, it was loud. A lot of people, loud music. And, you know, we just kind of had like a minute of, hi, oh, you watch us? What? For real? Hi. Thank you. And that was it, because we just started like mingling or off dancing in front of the really loud, break your ear speakers. And you're probably at one of the parties or both parties, because they had the 5th anniversary one as well as the one the next day. So we didn't really even get a chance to like chit chat or anything else besides, you know, yelling at each other on Fremont Street.
Yeah.
So now's your chance, and we want to get to know you a little bit better. So if you could just maybe start off however you want to take it, however long you want to introduce us to you, and like just kind of give us like how you ended up on Fremont Street. I mean, I know you had to like go through an airplane, all that jazz, but how did you find the space? How did you find the VeVe community and get involved with, I mean, not just VeVe, but some other projects that you're in, but how did it all begin for you?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to talk about it. So it's funny, like I started really kind of just looking at NFTs about 4 years ago. My buddies had been trying to get me to join VeVe from early 2021. Doctor of Stuff, Crypto Rain, another buddy named Crypto Cashflow. They had been relentlessly trying to get me to join. And I was just one of those naysayers, didn't understand NFTs, just didn't understand the technology. I was like, no way. Crypto is really sketchy to me at that time. I had dabbled in it like a few years earlier, and I didn't even know like the technology. It was so volatile that I just like pulled my money out. I think I made like $100 or something. And I just was like, I'm done with crypto stuff. And then a few years later, sure enough, Dr. Stuff and them are trying to get me to come join VeVe. And I was like, I don't think so. And they finally convinced me. Crypto Cashflow, I don't know if you guys know him yet, but he convinced me to go for the Marvel Comics #1 drop. That was the first drop that I made my account just before that. And I went for the drop. I just bought one. Again, I had no idea what I was doing or what this was all about. I buy one for the $6.99. I get a common, and I'm like, dang it. See, I knew these NFTs were so bummed.
I got rugged.
And so then a week later, they drop another comic, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll buy like 2 this time. Both commons, of course. And then the next week, I don't even remember what comics they kept dropping, but like the next week I went for 3. And then the next week I went for like 5. And then I just got hooked. I just like loved the fandoms and just started buying. And I haven't looked back. It really opened my eyes into like what an NFT was. I was starting to do research. I started looking online and hearing about the Bored Apes. At that time, they were making a name for themselves. And I just started diving into the different NFT projects. And I've kind of just spread myself around, and I've really enjoyed the entire NFT space.
Same here. And I got to say, we have similar stories in terms of how we kind of found this space, how we really got into VeVe. And I know with VeVe, for any digital collecting platform that is kind of your first, there's that inflection point where it's like, is it really cool? Is it a scam? And then after you go through the motions, because either you're a creator, you found a community, you've hung out in spaces, you've watched these YouTube channels, and then you're like, all right, you know what? I'm kind of digging it. It's bringing back nostalgia. I've collected before, so it brought that back right away. But once you start steamrolling into this, which is digital collecting, it really starts to get a hold of you to a point where it also starts getting a hold of your wallet. getting a hold of your time, and also getting a hold of your passion. A lot of us have so much passion for this stuff.
Mhm.
It's something that we resonate, like Star Wars or Star Trek and all that good stuff in between, right?
Yep.
And I love what has happened here. And this is an interesting thing because for DNI, you would have never caught us up here on camera 4 years ago doing something like this if it wasn't for this space, this stuff, and the fandoms doing this, right? Wanting to talk about it. And now it's like, whoa, we're doing something way more. And it's all because of the technology, NFTs, whether you are here for the investment portion, the collecting portion, the tech portion, the crypto portion, the excitement, or just you just are a spectator, like you were saying, you used to watch us in the back and just watch, and you just want to see what happens. But this space has really drawn me into where I love it so much. I want to be in it. And I think we're so early to a point where this is one of those things like, hey, I'm here before the internet was ever discovered. And that's how I feel about this space.
Yep.
How about you?
Yeah, so like I've been in it really, like I've enjoyed the investment. Like I feel like the technology is so early, honestly. I feel like it's a disruptive technology, and with all things that are disruptive, like there can be an initial hype zone, but then there's a lot of resistance that comes, or like stories of, I think some of the industries that get impacted by these disruptive technologies really kind of try to spread like anything negative that they can to try to stop the disruptive technologies, right? Yeah, exactly. And so I think we're kind of in that period right now where it's very disruptive. It's got a negative connotation in a lot of ways, but I do think it's starting to get a bit more energy coming around to it. And with the fandoms that are here, like I've been enjoying finding different fandoms that I liked as a kid, and then I also have liked some of these Web3 IPs that have sprouted, and joined some of their communities and found just a love for collecting various IPs on this. And it's just been a blast. So yeah, I've been in it for kind of both the investment for early stage technology, as well as just having a ton of fun. Collecting has never really been my thing outside of collecting like Marvel cards when I was real young. Physical collecting was never something I really gravitated towards after that because of the space issue. Like I'm one of those people that I'm like, even though there's things that I love, I just don't like stacking a bunch of things and kind of having to take up that space. So digital collecting really resonated with me, to have provenance and to be able to have verifiable scarcity. That just really like wrung my interest. So yeah, I've been in here ever since.
And it makes sense because a lot of what's happening now for goods is being digitized. I mean, if you really look at it, music has been digitized for quite some time. And if you remember the Napster era, we were kind of a part of that revolution. Now you look at streaming and movies, right? And I remember at one time, the box office almost lost the war in terms of streaming taking over. And I still feel like over time that'll happen. But like, it's just one of those things where I remember email. I remember when the internet first came out. I'm in communications, right? I remember when the phone company had the biggest pushback on internet phones, VoIP, because it was so cheap, so accessible, and all you needed was an internet connection. You didn't need them to run a phone line. You didn't need to rent a phone from them, none of that other stuff, right? And they pushed back so hard on that because they didn't want people to realize that this is the future. And now we're literally on an internet phone call. If you think about that, right? This video call, Star Trek, they knew about it first. But needless to say, there's always pushback with new tech. Same with AI. It's the craziest thing, right? Like I'm from an industry region where they are the last of the antiquated, the analog. A lot of the infrastructure here is so analog. Like we still have poles and all this other kind of crazy stuff. And so to try to educate the population down here, specifically in this state, about what's really happening with AI and tech and blockchain, it's non-existent. And it's not their fault. It's just that they are behind the spectrum of times to catching up with the trend. Hawaii's always been late. And I'm just using us an example, as in just population shifting to this next inflection, which is digital, right? And so over time, Hawaii was able to transition. And that's just how society is going to be with this place. But I think it's going to steamroll fast, because I'm sure you're like me, where the NFT is not, everyone looks at the NFT like it's like this NFT right here is going to make me $1 million, because that's what that's what Paris Hilton said back in 2021, right? And so a lot of people look at an NFT like, oh, it's a gambling chip. No, it's technology. It's going to be your mortgage. It's going to be your ticket. It's going to be like your movie ticket that will be a collectible one day, right? Because, hey, guess what? They're digital collectibles. So it's interesting where we're going. I love the ride. And, I think that's why we're all here and we're excited and we're passionate about talking about this. That's why we're talking today. What do you think, Dee?
Yeah, I mean, just I had some thoughts when you guys were talking a bit before, but about the whole NFT space being like a scam, crypto being a scam. That was kind of like how my thought process was when Hinano first introduced me to VeVe and the $1 million rock that someone made a killing on. I'm like, okay, $1 million rock, now that is a scam. Like, who would buy a digital rock?
Someone bought it.
Yeah. And but I think that's how it goes with when there's something I guess like maybe considered futuristic, and we're just not sure if it's going to work or how it's going to work, and we're just like scared, and so we just end up being negative about it. And that's kind of how it was for me when I started. Like, I was negative about it, and until I downloaded the VeVe app, I kind of was like perusing on it, like just kind of figure out and listening to Hinano, like, maybe you should get this since you like comics, or if you like the collectibles, maybe get this. And once you start like learning about it and actually doing something on it, then the more you get used to it, and then it's not so scary after all. And then like 4 or 5 years later, you're like, man, I was like, I don't know why I thought it was, going to lead me like down a dark alley. Maybe it could have, but people lose money all the time in Web3 and stuff. But if you're careful and you do your research, you just find good people that can help you along the way, and just make the right choices. It's really not that bad. And yeah, now that we're in this space all together, we're like looking ahead, like, oh, what if our collectibles did this? Wouldn't that be cool if they could do this and this and this? And who knows, like in the next 2 to 3, 5 years, that's what's going to happen, right? And so we just got to, I guess, embrace it and just go with it, right? Because like Hinano and you guys were saying, we were all against electronic mail. Like, I want to walk to the post office, put in my mail, and then wait like 2 to 3 weeks for someone to respond to me, yes or no, or whatever, instead of embracing that you could go on this computer, type in your message, wait, I don't know, less than an hour for someone to respond to you. And so, yeah, I think we're just still learning along the way. And yeah, there's more to come, and we just got to embrace it. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Sorry, I was like rambling a bit. And for the whole, like you were saying that you're more into digital collecting, that's how we started, or at least for me, in VeVe. And then we found out that we had a couple local comic shops on our island. And so we made it like a family thing where
she found out. I knew they were here the whole time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Before we dated, I was still a collector.
Right.
She forgot to mention when we first moved in together, all the short boxes that moved in with us in the closet. So
yeah, so he had his collection. I didn't have that. When I was growing up, I didn't collect comic books and stuff. So anyway, fast forward to, we found VeVe, and then we were like, okay, this is cool. We can see our stuff on our phone, and we don't have to, waste any space in our house. And then, yeah, I found out about the local comic shop. We made a family trip out there to, check it out. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is on VeVe. I need to collect the physical to match my digital.
Hey, 3 hours. Her, not me.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yes.
Wow.
But it's like a whole experience,
I was waiting
right?
outside.
But I think for me too, like, because I loved reading when I as a younger person.
Yeah.
And so I would go to the library every summer when I could and just be in there like the whole day. And I would read like multiple books. And so at the comic shop, I was like, this is really cool. Like you can touch it, you can feel it, you can see what you want.
The
And
smell
then
of the books.
the smell of the book. And then, you see people coming in with their kids, or like adults, and they're like, you find out that they're into like the same thing as you, which is really cool because you find people with the same stuff as you, because there's not a lot of us that can go to our in real life people, friends and family, and talk to them about, hey, check out this comic that I got on VeVe. And they're like, okay, yeah, cool. You're a dork. Or you're a geek.
Right, you're a nerd.
Yeah. And so like the comic shop was like a safe place for the nerds, right?
It really was.
Totally.
Yeah. And so yeah, digital did help us, but then also we have more short boxes
It
behind
didn't help
here.
me. I can reach
Yeah.
anywhere and there's a toy somewhere around. It doesn't help
Literally.
me. You know what I mean? Look, there's an Ecto 1 right here. That's how bad it's gotten. David,
Yeah.
you.
And then now we're like into collecting cards, and to make me feel better about our collecting habits, it's like, but cards are smaller than comic books, so hence it's better to collect cards. But then now we have like more cards, so
Totally.
I don't know if that's it didn't really help, but I think that's all it is, right? In the collecting game, collect what you love.
Yep. Yeah, I will say, like, there have been a few of the physical collectibles that have started to make it into like my possessions, and really most of them are VeVe. Honestly, like going to the in-person events has been super fun. So like, just like the VeVe hats, or like I actually took one of MOVAVI's shirts and I framed it because we had gone to DCon back like 3 years or so ago. Doctor of Stuff, Crypto Rain, and Crypto Cashflow and we got the t-shirt signed by the entire VeVe team, as well as Ron English at the time. So I took that shirt and I framed it actually in my office. And so shout out to MOVAVI's for that. Yeah. And then, really the only other collectors I have, other than just some of the VeVe pieces that we've gotten at those in-person events, are my wife got me a couple of special gifts that I keep as physical collectibles. In fact, you guys got to meet her, Shanti Bombs, at the event. She's in the VeVe fam as well. She's tagged along and she started to enjoy it. I think she thinks I'm a little crazy still, but she's enjoying it.
Give her time.
So I'll show you here. So one of the collectibles is she got me a signed Messi jersey, if you can see that.
Yeah.
In the background. And then on the other side is a signed Pele jersey.
That is nice.
So I grew up really loving soccer, played it. I was pretty mediocre, but loved watching the greats. I didn't get to watch Pele, obviously, but I watched his films and goals, and Messi I still watch. So those are a couple of meaningful collectibles that I have.
Okay, so in a sense, I just cut you off, D. I'm so sorry. I kind of want to go to your past to kind of like get to the future here, in terms of like, in some way, even if you haven't collected in the past, you've always collected something, right? Whether you've collected a movie ticket, if you've gone to like a state fair, you collect stuffed dolls, right? You've always collected something, bottle caps, cards, whatever, right? But growing up, what was that thing for you? Like a great example for me is I got into comics because of the Sunday comics. I used to actually cut out the Sunday comics and paste them into like a composition book and make my own comic books. And so that's kind of what kind of got me into that and got me into stories, wanting to write stories, which is then, what Dee said, like stories kind of like open up the realm for everything. It like lets you escape. And I think that's part of why we're here, is escapism from the outside world. Right, we're really in, and I say this a lot. People are like, "When VeVeverse?" I'm like, "We're kind of in it if you think about it. This is a virtual connection if you think about this, right? Spaces is VeVeverse. This is VeVeverse, right? Discord is VeVeverse because it's interconnected and it's all digital. So just kind of look in that perspective, and there you go. But before all this, what was the tangible thing that really got you into wanting to like maybe collect something?
Yeah, before I answer, I've been seeing in the comments, happy birthday, D. I'm like, wait, what? Is your birthday today? What in the world? Happy birthday, D.
I'm not
you.
allowed to say this. I'm not allowed to say anything, Cosmo. So I am going to plead the fifth.
All right, all right. Well, happy
Thank
birthday!
you.
Thanks for having me on your birthday. Definitely
Yes, of
feel
course.
privileged.
Thank you.
And so to your question, really like one of the very few things that I collected was when I was growing up, we lived next to a card shop. And as such, I would walk over there with my family members and we would go and like buy packs of cards. And it started with baseball cards and basketball cards. And I would see up on the board that there were some that were valuable, right? And they were going for like maybe $50 or $60 at that time, and I was like, whoa, that's so much money.
Yeah.
I was probably only like 7 or 8. And then it led into, I would just buy the packs. I didn't even know the players or anything. I just liked that I had a lot of cards.
Yeah,
And
they look cool, right? Wax packs.
Yeah, exactly. And then that led to collecting Marvel cards because I was watching the Marvel cartoons, X-Men and Spider-Man. And so I was collecting those cards and I actually knew who those characters were. And I had in my binder and I collected all the individual ones. And then that probably went till I was maybe like 13 or 14 or so. And then it kind of just fell off the map. I don't know. Like me and my family moved and it just fell off my radar. And I kind of didn't really collect much more after that, like in terms of actually collecting anything. Like I don't recall anything else that I'd had. So
you go through your cool phase, Cosmo. It's the cool phase, right? Like high school was my cool phase where if I brought a comic book out, I was a nerd, dork, geek. You don't want that in the cool phase, right? So you leave it in the closet and you don't think about it.
Yes. Am I glitching? Are you guys able to see me?
No, you're good.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're perfect.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely probably had to be part of it. So really the collecting started again, like once I found digital collecting.
Yeah, I took so I started collecting very heavily in the 90s. In fact, you're talking about cards. I recently just discovered, and I don't know if you're an Image fan or if you know like any Image comics. You probably know Spawn, right?
Yeah.
Which was Image Comics. So, but this right here is Savage Dragon, and so he is also Image. Eric Larson. He did all the art as well as he did all of. Let me blow this up some more. He did all the art as well as the story. Only one artist, one writer, and this is like a generational, so you can see throughout the years this character progress. But I mean, it's kind of like around the time when you started collecting too. So I got into this. I got into collecting in the 90s, very heavy. But then around like say maybe 96, I fell off and just stopped. So I collected for 5-6 years and I stopped because girlfriends started being cooler. High school, I had a car. Comic books weren't cool. Hanging out at the beach and cruising with your friends were cool. So that's kind of where I was at. And I think the last comic I collected was Battle Chasers. And shout out to Alistair because I was able to actually find #1 in a 9.8 on FANABLE. But just stuff like that, right? Like, there is a hard stop. And then coming back into the fold was VeVe. VeVe really got me back into collecting. It really kind of got me back into that nostalgia respark and all that other cool stuff that come with collecting. Just because some of the stuff that you see on the app is just cool, right? And the one thing that really got me was this car, was the DeLorean right here. When I saw that thing, I'm like, yo, and I can blow that thing up. So now, because I'm in communication, right? I'll go and hang out with IT managers and stuff like that person I told you about in Lanai. And I will blow up a car in like say a field, or I'll blow up the Millennium Falcon was just a recent one I did at the other resort where I blew it up right in this and I think I put it on X. I blew it up right in front of this huge golf course right here. It's like the 18th hole. And the thing took up the whole entire 18th hole. And you go and walk right underneath it. Like it's a UAP right there that landed in Hawaii, right? And I'm walking right into the gate. And the IT guys are behind me. I'm like, let's go. You know what I mean? Let's check it out. You want to look inside? I bring the cockpit right inside. We're in the cockpit, right? And so that kind of stuff really gets your sensory perceptions on like, that's Star Wars. That's cool. And I get to have it, right? And to see the AR functions and to play around with this stuff, that really was the selling point. I really think it still is. And so my question to you is, what is your thoughts on AR with digital collectibles in terms of not only utilizing AR for that use case, but for more? Like a great example is we're going to be walking down the street one day with our glasses and we're going to be like checking emails, playing music on Spotify, and maybe even doing this while you're walking. Hopefully you don't hit a car, right? But I feel like that's going to happen in AR. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so too. Honestly, like the AR function, I think is going to be a pivotal part of this NFT technology. And I'll use it occasionally on the phone, but where I feel that I'm going to gravitate towards it much more is once it starts becoming compatible with AR glasses that are much more mainstream, like the glasses that you're wearing now, both of you. Like they look normal, but they can project like digital possessions that we have, and we can use them as art in our house. And then we can even get to a point where we can see what others, you know, we can like I don't know how that would work if they have to share their files to make them public. But being able to see that and share that fandom together, I think is really where the technology is going to make a lot more sense. There's going to be a big light bulb that's going to go off in my mind. So I'm really looking forward to that. I know it's coming. It's being developed. There's a bunch of companies working on making those glasses. I mean, Meta already has glasses that are really quite normal looking glasses. Now they can't quite do the AR stuff yet, to my understanding, but I think Snapchat's working on all that tech. So I look forward to using the VeVe Digital Collectibles once that tech comes around.
You know, you bring up a good point about like how can we kind of share our field of vision in AR, and there is a thing called Common Link out there, at least in the communication industry, where you can link a video stream between 4 or 5 computers, right, where we're all sharing one feed, depending on who is the home base person, right? The person that's actually the source of the feed, right? And I suspect they're going to do something similar with AR, because really AR is just kind of like some type of digital feed you're looking at that's projected, right? Like
Yes.
the digital collectibles. Same thing with this. People are watching us right now, whether it's on a TV, a phone, it's similar, like an image, a projection on that. And all we got to do is share the feed. And they have tech like that out there in the communication realm where we can do that. I can only imagine they're going to put it in these to a point where like, yo, hey, check this out. I'm in Hawaii. Check out where I got my Todd, and I hit a button and you and I are sharing the same feed, and you're walking in New York, but you're looking at Hawaii through my feed, right? That's going to happen.
Yes.
Oh,
And that's going to be cool.
oh, that would be so cool. Sorry to jump in. For like, I'm here in Hawaii and Saloni in like New York. When she goes to like a food place, she could be like, D, check out what I'm eating. And like she'll go to like all those food places and I'll just be there salivating.
Yes.
But yeah, that'd be cool to like just share experiences with
Yes.
someone as it's happening and not take a video and then upload it to them later and they can check it. It's like real, like a live, but yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. That would be
Yes.
so cool. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, like
I
we
agree.
call it a live walk. Like you're walking with me live, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be really cool. Somebody
Yep.
patent that name.
Yeah, live walk. It's already in the works now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I take it that VeVe is kind of what really got you into the collecting mainstream, mainly on the digital side. So let's talk about collecting mainstream. What are you into now that you're in the digital stuff? Are you a Marvel guy? You're a DC guy? You say you like a lot about VeVe. What is your favorite piece? And is there something missing that you want?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's all sorts of things that are missing that I'd like, but there's a few different pieces that are kind of like in my top tier. The one that I like the most in terms of the aesthetics has always been the Miles Morales rare, where he's in the hoodie and the Jordans.
Yeah.
I just love that collectible. That's been my favorite. It's still my favorite. And then I would say that in terms of what I go for is I've kind of been listening to David Yu on this and been going after a lot of first appearances. I've kind of done two things really. I've gone for first appearances and then I've gone for MCP points. Yes, there is some utility on the MCP points. I think they're so heavily undervalued. So I've got this collection to kind of maximize MCP points. And then I've got this collection where I've gone real heavy on certain first appearances, specifically like Marvel comic #1 is meaningful to me because that was my first collectible on VeVe. And so I went hard on collecting those, especially the commons. just that original cover piece, right? And same with like Spider-Man #1, Amazing Fantasy 15, the partner statue, I've stacked those. And so just a number of first appearances along with the MCP point collection.
I got a question about, well, let's go back to MC1 because that is a very pivotal book. And I've had conversation with Chris Severs about quantity supply, right?
Yeah.
And I know right now everyone's like, they're loving the supply of the comics. And a lot of the older comics are either being slept on because you can buy a lot of the older comics, which is really the comics you want, for really cheap because of supply, right? And so what's really missing from VeVe, and I constantly say this, and it's not just VeVe, there's a lot of projects like this, is the rule of attrition. You know what the rule of attrition is, right?
Not the specific rule, but I think I understand where you're going with this.
Yeah. So the rule of attrition basically states that anything that's been mass produced over time will lose that mass production because either it got stolen, it got burned, broken, or something like that. Like comic books, right?
Yeah.
We used to roll them up and put them in our back pocket. We never used to put them in a bag and board, right?
Yep.
And so like all those comics, like your X-Men #1s, X-Men #1, you know, the Jim Lee comic, that one is still holding value because that thing followed the rule of attrition. Because back then, kids rolled them up. They probably use them as lightsabers, right? Or something like that. Or, you know, I used to stuff them in tailpipes of cars, right? For the tourists. So stuff like that, right? And so that's what's really missing from digital collectibles. But they have mechanics to implement rule of attrition. Like a great example is Candy implemented a rule of attrition by allowing you to burn. Whether you wanted to or not, you were given that option to have that attrition, right? And I truly think that VeVe will have that option because it just makes sense to provide that if you want it, right?
Yes.
And so over time, and this is just me, I'm stupid, don't follow me, I know nothing. I truly believe that these very high volume comics will come down because some rule of attrition will be implemented in the project or projects per se. What do you think about that notion?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're 100% correct. In fact, I know you're 100% correct because they're already implementing that feature. They did that with the Darth Vaders where you could burn a Darth Vader.
It's true.
You get a different new Darth Vader that wasn't a first appearance, but it had some cool new mechanic with it. And they've done it with different Marvel Mighty collectibles, to my understanding. And so it's already happening. And so, yes, I 100% believe that that will also come into play at some point with Marvel Comics #1 and other high number of collectibles in the collection so that you can kind of get that more scarce. So 100% believe that.
Yeah. Another thing that I truly believe is sometimes supply is not a bad thing. Look at Pokemon cards, right?
Yep.
Look at some of the Chase Pokemon cards. In the Chase, you got like maybe 18,000 to 20,000 graded of one particular Chase card, right? But you try to buy that Chase card, depending if it's probably a Charizard because you get that tax, right? You're looking at 1,000+ cards still. Yes. But why? It's got so much population because it's popular, right? Because there's not enough supply to meet that demand.
Yes.
Meaning there's way more than 18,000 people that want that card, right? And so that is another way that attrition plays in for that supply. Right now, we only have who we have here, right? So demand has not come here yet. And all we really need to do is make the product attractive to instill that demand.
Yes.
And then once that demand hits here, then will we have enough supply? Then you really got to look at those amazing fantasies, right? Because that's in the same allotment of a Pokemon card that's a Chase card, right? Everyone's like, 10,000 editions. Like, you really don't realize how much people are around the planet. And really the gamble is, will they adopt this tech, right? And really think about who's adopting this tech, U.S. government. So I'm just saying, right? This reminds me of the internet all over again.
Yes. Well, and one thing I'll add to that too is like when people are like, oh, this has so many editions. I mean, unless you're seeking to be like one of few that are holding a grail so you can be truly exclusive, like, then yeah, you're not going to find that with like a piece like an MC1 common, right? But if you're looking for being able to hold something that you like, as well as you believe it's going to increase in value, then something like an FA appearance of the first Marvel comic collectible ever is going to be able to do that. And that high number of pieces in it, 60,000 total between all the variants, is already factored into the price. It's not like the price of a Marvel comic number 1 is like $1,000 right now, and you're like, oh, I don't want to buy that because there's 48,000 of the commons. The price is like $18, so that's already factored in. So like what I'm doing, I'm stacking those like crazy because I believe that those are going to multiply from their current price significantly, especially once you factor in burns, but especially once you get a broader audience coming in and they're like, oh, I can't afford the secret rare, but I can get the common and I can get the uncommon or so. And they start scooping those. And yes, you'll have your whales go for the secret rares, of course, and those will also go up in value significantly. So I just don't see the argument of like, oh, the commons and such aren't going to go up in value. They may not be.
They're the cover
close.
Everyone wants.
Yeah,
they're
may
the
not
cover
be
everyone
close
wants.
to a
Great,
secret
yeah.
rare price, but they're going to be a significant multiple of what their current price is, and that's kind of what I'm going for.
And we're speculating right here, guys. This is just
Exactly.
speculation,
Not
nation. We
financial
know
advice.
nothing, right? Yeah, it's Aloha Friday. We're high on air. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is, I think regardless if there's supply, they can always do something with it. Depending if there is no demand, then what do you do if there's no demand and you got way too much supply? You get rid of that supply, right? Especially if there's duplicates and quadruplets of that stuff. Like you don't need all of that stuff, but
Yep.
you know, you can also make the point like, okay, if there's 20,000 comics, right, of something, right? Well, why don't like maybe, I don't know, 100 people own 10 or 20 of these, right? Where does your supply go, right? Like really think about how much people hold, right? And if we're really looking at digital as not necessarily the replacement for physical, because over time, I think time is going to replace physical because physical can only last for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But this will become mainstream. This will be adopted. And once that adoption takes place in the world, the mechanics of the physical world will also play a role in the digital in terms of trying to find certain first appearances, the covers, the rule of attrition. All of those mechanics will play into this, depending on the platform, depending on the demand, and depending how much people are there, right? And VeVe might be different from other places, like Candy, like they did their whole burn thing. They are going down a different route. If you listen to what they're doing, it sounds like they want to go the auction house route. So they're going to do like maybe kind of like treasures and relics and art, that type of route, make it scarce, give the scarcity right from the storefront versus VeVe. They implement some type of rule of attrition either later on or, you know, at the beginning. And I think that's how you get rid of the supply over time.
Yeah. Well, and listen to this too, is like people tell me all the time, like when they find out that I'm collecting like Spider-Man #1 and MC1, like with all the additions and such, so like that's too many. It will never get like all that valuable. There's just too many, I think. I say you can have 60,000, even 48,000 of the commons, and it could still be very, very valuable. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Like you said, it's speculation. But I'll give you an example. Bored Ape Yacht Club, okay? They have a metaverse called Otherside, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And they released the Otherside lands, and there is 100,000 plots of land. Last cycle, the floor price of those lands got up to $12,000. Now it was priced in ETH, but there was 100,000 of them, and it was a Web3 IP that became worldwide like known because of Bored Ape Yacht Club, but it didn't have any history at all. It was just this new hype. But you can see that when there's demand for it, 60,000 isn't actually that much when you consider worldwide demand, which I think VeVe's going to get there.
And that's 25% of the global market that probably even knew about those lands. 100, because there's not, we look at the Web3 space, like, because we've been here so long that we're like, I feel like we're going through what we call community fatigue, right? We've seen each other here. We've known each other here. We feel like we're at the top of the hill because in reality, there's not a lot of people here, but really that's it. There's a fraction of people here. And if or when the floodgates open, I
Mhm.
think it's really going to be a completely different world in here. Once they understand what's happening, once they feel it's safe, once the easy button has been implemented, everyone just wants safety, right? They won't even know they're buying an NFT. That's the whole stigma of it all, right? Where we have to
Yep.
mask that all, right?
Yep.
And once they figure that out, right, you're 100% right. And that goes back to attrition, right? Either attrition is like manually forced by mechanical means, or it is naturally devised because of demand.
Yep.
So, and I guess that's a balance they really got to figure out, right? And so you really got to think now, when they made these edition sizes prior, the demand was for that, right? But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean they weren't planning ahead for future, because if you kind of look at the demand that we had prior, it was still like maybe a good 10-15% of the entire global population, because I can go outside and ask my neighbor, hey, you know what digital collectible is? What the hell are you talking about, right? We haven't gotten there yet, right? When we get there, then we're at the Pokemon phase, where it's like 18,000 on a chase card is absolutely nothing. 60,000 editions on a digital MC1 is absolutely nothing when you look at the entire world, right?
Yes.
So,
yep.
Or at least that's the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think when we educate more people too, that's not in the same space that we're in right now, because years, like maybe a year or two ago, when you call someone or when you ask someone, oh, how do you want to pay for this? Give me your credit card info. And they're like, I don't want to give you my card info over the phone. But now it's on your Apple phone, right? You just tap to pay, and that's a digital purchase.
Yes.
So they're already doing it without knowing or realizing that they're already doing it. And those are the same. We just have to, I guess, normalize it and maybe change the terms a bit. So it's like, not dumbed down, but to a base level that the normies, I guess, can understand. Yeah, because or if you give them examples like, what do you mean you don't know what a digital collectible is, or like doing things digitally? You're basically doing it right now on your phone. Like, how do you think you're streaming your movies and stuff? They just came out in theaters, but you're able to pay for an extra amount and stream it in the comforts of your home. You're basically living it. So we just have to get them, not we, but yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
The people who already know. We just have to educate and help the ones that don't know, or they're too scared to realize that they're already doing it. And with the way that AI is getting advanced, like pretty much every week, and just getting better, they can be used as a tool to help people better understand, and just to make things easier, simplifier.
Yes.
You know.
And I'll say too, like one of the things that's like specifically impressed me about VeVe is like getting to meet and talk with David Yu and understanding the vision that he's had since starting. Like he called me in VeVe back in, I think, 2017, and understanding what this technology could lead to, and having the guts to go knock on doors to major IPs to try to explain it to them when they hadn't even heard about this technology or even understood it. And I was just like, man, what vision for them to go and do that. But then how interesting it has been, how, if you remember, VeVe got mocked last cycle, 4 years ago, because the NFT purists or the Web3 purists would be like, oh, yours are digital collectibles. Like that's not the same as an NFT. And now fast forward to today, there's so many projects that are running away from the term NFT because they know it has a stigma to the normies. And now they are adopting digital collectibles. And I'm just like, man, David continues to like lead from the front in so many different ways. And there's many more examples than just those couple. But I've been very impressed with just his vision, his understanding of the collectible world, and his relationships with so many big time IPs. It's been fascinating, and I love what he's doing at the top.
Fascinating is the word, because VeVe has been relentless, and I've had my words in terms of my my critique in the past of the project. But going forward, like a great example is yesterday they dropped that app, right? Like I was telling D, my goodness, because I'm going to be honest, I haven't interacted in the app in a while. The app was kind of poo-poo at first whenever they moved, but it's gotten a whole lot better. But yesterday when they dropped that profile thing, and I'm big on wanting to like make my profile look like a certain way, and I didn't think I was going to get into it. So I started messing with my profile. Like I ended up buying a collectible because I wanted something on the profile, right? Like, and I don't do that stuff. And like we were on a date last night. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "You're not going to believe this. I bought gems so I could buy a Hal Jordan." It's like, why? Because VeVe did this thing on their profile thing where you can do your showcase on the profile. And I'm doing a DC. In fact, I'll show you. Because this is how silly I've gotten with this, right? Where a point where I end up messing with this. So I needed Hal Jordan. And so here he is. He was missing from my DC lineup, right? And I needed him. And I bought him. But here's the thing about me, right? I lose interest quick for whatever reason, right? But to get me to buy a collectible just so I can make my thing look cool, right? That's not easy for me to do, right? And so, and the reason why I did it too is it was very fast. Like the app has not been laggy lately, at least for my phone, doing all this stuff. So I mean, like, I think I stayed up till 1 making this last night. So, and I don't know if you're the same way, but my whole point I'm trying to get at here is they're doing things now where it's attracting people like me to kind of come back and participate, because I'm a market buyer. I have not participated in a drop in a very long time. Last one was a Millennium Falcon, and then I participated on Tuesday for the Electra drop, right? Because we're calling it Fro Day, and it was just a fun time. And we're in the VeVe Discord, and I'm glad I went and did that because I actually went and scored a secret rare. And I haven't gotten a secret rare in a very long time, right? And for whatever reason, like just for me, and just to get that feeling of a secret rare, I've forgotten what that felt like, right? And so to get that, and then now I'm buying like Hal Jordans. If they keep
Lanterns
doing,
is coming.
But here's the thing I'm trying to say, right? If you can somehow convince me to buy a Hal Jordan because I want it to look good on my profile, you're doing something right. That's my whole point, right? Yeah. Whether it's marketing, whether it's ease of use, or whether it's for showing stuff off, right? And if you can do that to me, who else are you doing that to, right? And that is a good thing. And I rarely say these things, right? So, but they're doing stuff like that. I love that. I love the collectibles. They look beautiful. That Millennium Falcon, and I know some people don't like how it looked like. I have different eyes. I love it. I think it looks great. I think it's one of the best collectibles they've ever dropped. I mean, just seeing that thing fly off, I didn't even think it came back, right? I was like, Deke, it's like a dog. It came back. You know what I mean? Damn. So, yeah, I'm impressed. And I'm, you know, when it comes to David Yu, we've had him on the channel a few times. He's just a G. I love just talking story with David Yu, because when David comes on, he doesn't ever have to worry about us badgering him. If he wants, like, if you want to go to an alpha space, go to a Millie. But if you want to come and, like, you know, talk to a collector, that's where we bring David on. We like to do that. And whenever we have him on, it's always a great time because it's just him geeking out. Yep. And to have a CEO geek out with you like that, I don't think any CEO we've had on this channel geeks out as much as David. Like one time he put on the Peacemaker mask while Big Bro was live streaming with him. So yeah, when you got a CEO like that and he's trying to have fun, that's a good CEO that you want to have right in the back, right?
Well, and he's so relatable, and he always seems to give the attention to the person in front of him. Like it's so impressive. Like whether it's at a trade show or a community event, like he just sits and talks with you and gives you that attention, and you're like, man, there's so many people that want his attention, that want to talk to him. Surely, like, he's just so annoyed that I'm even coming to talk to him. And you just do not ever feel like that. Like, he's just interested in what you have to say. We were there. We had gotten our shirt signed, right? Like I told you at that decon a few years ago. And he's like, oh, my gosh, I've got to get a picture of you guys on my phone. He takes his phone and he takes a picture of our group. And I'm like, wow, what a guy, man, to like have that positivity and just emotional energy to just keep on giving that attention to everybody that comes in front of them. It's really impressive. I admire it a lot.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the day. Sorry, I'll sorry to cut you off, but I'm waiting for the day I have something in my hand he wants, and I'm waiting for the tap. Yo, you want to trade for that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right?
you know, something that he does not have, which I doubt I will find, but I will find something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead, D.
What was oh yeah, I found it really cool that every or almost every live event that he goes to, there's always what I call the David Yu selfie, because he always does it right. Like he's right there, and everyone else is like behind, and
Yes.
you know you got to zoom in to like see like who was there. But it's really cool that he's like you said, he's the one that takes the picture, and he's just like so giddy. Like his face is like literally like
Yeah, it's like
just
red
happy.
cheeks.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yes, he's a really cool dude in real life. And I think he just wants to like, because he does so much. I mean, I really don't know, but he does so much and meets people, and you know tries to land all these different IPs and stuff, that when you see him just kind of like be in his element and just like hang out and just be him as a person and not as the CEO or co-founder, and just be a collector, you can just really see him light up. And like when they had Big Bro was telling us when he went to the meetup in California, when like a couple days ago, and he was ripping, you know, Pokemon packs, Pokemon cards with the fam, and you know they were like, who's getting like the better one, and he's like, oh, and, like, it's just like everyone like, just kind of gets into that same like feeling of just being there to just enjoy the collecting space, you know, with each other. And
so do you think if he pulled the Gengar, he would have been like, so how much you want for that? You know what I mean?
What you got? What are we talking about? What you got?
Well, yeah, you got 85K because I hear that's how much it costs graded. Anyway,
like whatever, whatever. If there's something that you think he doesn't have that he may want, you know, you have to have 3 of those, right? Just in case. So if David wants one, you can trade with him, 1 to keep and then 1 to do whatever else with. The rule of 3, right?
And I think it's important for founders to really, because, you know, we talk about David, specifically we're talking about VeVe, right? Like David or Dan, right? Like, you know, they're the placeholders, they're the people that are kind of like steering the ship. But in reality, you got to have confidence in your leadership, right? And regardless on how you feel on like, you know, everything else in between, right? Because there's a lot of moving parts in any business. If you have a CEO that knows his audience, or at least interacts with his audience, then that's something that people can get behind, right? And that's a testament to a lot of these projects, because there's a lot of other projects that have either leads on the project. Maybe they don't call themselves a CEO. Maybe they just call them like the lead dev or something like that, depending on, you know, if you're in crypto or something like that, though. But
yes,
there are founders out here that are at the forefront in front of their company. David's one of them. And there's a few others just like him as well, right? And I noticed that people will rally, you know, like take a Luca Nets, right? He's got his own following as well, right? They will rally behind him as well. Same with this new guy, Tad. There's everyone is rallying behind him as well, right? So, and that is good for the project. That is good for confidence with the community, and it's also just a good look, because that makes outside eyeballs attracted to what is going on in here. So, and it's a testament to these founders. So whoever's watching that's a founder that is not really getting into the trenches with their community, I highly suggest maybe you really rethink that. So
yeah, one thing I'm going to say too that I really like, that's made me feel a lot more just confident in where VeVe is going, is a lot of these Web3 projects, especially the NFT projects, they really relied on their first sale of their project, and then they relied on the secondary sales, like in OpenSea, the commissions that they would get.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, OpenSea turned those off during the bear market, and a bunch of the liquidity left the crypto space as all of the energy and excitement left. And they were left with no revenues. And their goal was basically just like, oh, crypto's got this 4-year cycle, so we just need to make it till the end of the 4-year cycle and the liquidity starts coming back. and we'll be fine. And David and Dan, they've always taken the position that they want a continuous viable business model where they're continuing to bring in and find ways to have regular revenues coming in consistently. And there are very few projects that have been able to do that all bear market long, and credit to them. They have found a way, even with all these other fudders and projects saying, no, this project is the one that's doing it right. VeVe messed up in all of these areas. This is the one that's going to take out VeVe. And sure enough, they couldn't sustain revenue streams, and so many of them folded. And yet VeVe, with all of the FUD and all the things they were doing wrong, continued to find a way to gain and keep people's interests, that they wanted to keep spending money on VeVe's product. And I just admire that. I think they've done really well. They've created a sustainable business model. And yes, there's still this 4-year cycle where tons of money comes in, but even when the money is flooded out of the space, they still found a way to bring in revenues. And that is a rare thing in this space.
And the thing about the name VeVe, it's synonymous with digital collectibles and IP. It is and it's the first of its kind, right? And you're going to go look at, and I'm just going to say it like this, and no disrespect to any other project, because I love all the other projects. We collaborate with them all, but they're all clones of what VeVe started, right? VeVe was the first and I don't want to say the first, because I know someone's going to be like, no, it was this or that. I'm like, it really was the first to make a splash with all of these IPs, keep the IPs, keep it consistent. And I think at the end of the day, as long as you have people that believe in you and continue to support you, then that's all that matters. But you need to provide an experience. Mm-hmm. You need to provide something with your product, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of these Web3 companies, they really wanted to build off that hype from 2021, right? Everybody and their mom was getting in here with licensed IP after that. And it's cool to go for drops and buy all these things and then maybe have artificial scarcity as the value prop. But in reality, it's, what are we going to do with these things? Is there utility with these things? What's the experience with it, right? And the one thing that VeVe has always done right was they made sure that they gave an experience, whether that's Spaces, this YouTube that we're on right now, whether that's Discord, whether that's trivia nights, you know what I mean? Whether that's hanging out the Oasis or going to live events, right? There's always something. There's also the AR, right? That is also an experience, right? Or these challenges, the Gleam experiences, right? It's like, that's what you do. It's like, okay, we can bring people here. How do we keep them? Like, no one has ever figured out how do we keep them. You need an experience. And that's the one thing that I can say with confidence that they've always done right, is they've tried their best to keep the experience going. And, some of these other projects, they've been doing well. And unfortunately, because of maybe circumstance, they were halted, stopped, or they lost their momentum. And I won't name these projects because I also love them as well. But some of them lost their momentum. They're trying to get them back. And it starts with going back to the fundamentals of taking care of your community, providing that experience, and really, really making sure that you hold on to who you have left. Then you can bring more people in. Because if you try to bring more people in and there's no one here, you're not going to expect anyone to go into an empty room, right? I definitely don't want to go into an empty room. So that's kind of like how I look at it right there. So.
Yep. Like, one of the things that's interesting with this space, especially, is with this crypto arena, like, there is so much kind of, I like to call it dumb money, where people have just made enormous amounts of money that bought Bitcoin early or Ethereum early, and they made all this money from it. And then there's these things, NFTs, that all of a sudden that they could throw their Ethereum into, and like, prices just got so high and so inflated that they were beyond really what they, in my opinion, should have been worth. And so then the price comes down, and it's just so funny to see this happen with VeVe, and it's happened with every single project out there, that once the price starts coming down, all of a sudden the FUD starts coming in of all the things that everyone's doing wrong. And yet they're doing the same things that they were doing just weeks before when the price was up, and everybody was just happy as a clam with how things were going. But once the price starts coming down, the FUD starts getting real, and that causes people to kind of get nervous and sell more. And so the price kept coming. And I remember telling myself, like, I was listening to Crypto Rain, and he was really helping me understand about the history of crypto and these cycles and how, you know, prices go crazy and then they come down and they get obliterated. And I was like, okay, so if this holds true, and I've seen the prices get sky high with VeVe things, with all sorts of other NFT projects, and if this goes into a true bear market and prices get obliterated, I am going to make sure that I just stack the ones that I believe in, that I feel have sustainability or relevance with their IP, or their project has, you know, a true way to push forward over a sustained period of time with finances. I'm going to stack those. And that's really what I've tried to do over the last probably 18 to 24 months, just been stacking heavy in the projects that I believe in. And, you know, I look forward to just kind of, you know, maybe nothing happens with these, but I look forward to what they could do in the future for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I've been doing the same thing. I've been doing a little bit different though. I've been stacking projects that at least if by some chance they do go to zero, I had a good experience in these projects. Like I met like cool people like McFarlane, right? Like I'm like the mods. I love them. I consider them family, like Video Shane or Comic Guy, right? Or even DigiToys. I'm really close with that community too. The people in there, right? So like the people really is the best thing that, you know, that's really happened to all of us. I think, you know, like you just said that you got to like, you know, learn insight and wisdom from others as well. And same with us, you know, like from meeting Fro for the first time and really realizing that, yo, him and I was in the same movie one time and I didn't know, right? You know what I mean? Like it's really interesting how this space can really bring people together. Like I got to meet Chris Everfirst for the first time in Maui. Like I met him at the beach. It was like a Baywatch moment, but with two dudes. Pretty
Totally
bad.
was.
But,
That's what was going in my head when we were on the beach. I'm like, look at those guys. Like,
yeah. Well, anyway, you know. But my point being is, I would have never met the friends I have till today if it wasn't for the digital collecting space. I love being here. I devote a good portion of my time here. Like at least a good 40% of my life is devoted to this space now. And I have no regrets because I want to be a part of this space. I want to be a part of the revolution. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like we're in this revolution. This is the internet. This is like the printing press all over again. It's just that the outside world is being told that this printer press is bad for you. And then later on, they're going to find out that they could never live without it. Yes. And that's how I look at the tech.
Like one of the things I appreciate about the VeVe community specifically, because like I said, like I've inserted myself into hundreds of projects, both on the crypto token side, but on the NFT side. And I've gotten rug pulled, you know, so many times. I've gotten, you know, part of projects that didn't necessarily get rug pulled at all, but they just went to zero. Yeah. And there are still communities alive that are kicking or so, and they're fantastic. But what I've found is that there's a number of them that just are kind of toxic communities. And one thing I've really appreciated about VeVe is while there's still a number of other ones that are like pure Web3 IPs that are great communities that I love, like Moonbirds, like my profile pick. You know, I enjoy the Bored Ape Yacht Club community. I have some of their assets, not the Bored Ape itself, but some of their minor assets. But the VeVe community specifically, from my perspective, has been the most family oriented and just kind of wholesome oriented community that I've personally been a part of. And I've really enjoyed that because I feel like that's something that like I want to be able to bring my kids into, and I feel okay with doing that, and their IPs that they recognize. And so I've loved the VeVe community for that. Is I feel like it has so much more family orientation in general, and just a more wholesome environment. So kudos to what David and Dan have built with that, because they've done an amazing job.
I got a story to tell you. So we went to, by the way, how are you doing on time? It's
been
an hour.
I've got time. I probably got another 45 minutes. So I can keep going, man.
I'm very Portuguese, so if you get me going, CryptoCosmo, you can't shut me up. So.
I love this stuff.
2022 Decon, we're there, right? We're at the party that Mr. MC1 threw at Dave & Buster's. Were you there?
Not at that one, no.
Okay, it was interesting. I got to meet a lot of the content creators for the first time. I got to meet my collectibles, VeVe Vibe, Superstar Money. I got to meet Foster, his wife, and a few other people as well, right? Silicon That was awesome. Well, arcade, I got to experience arcade. Different from meeting him, you experience arcade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Totally different from meeting arcade. But
Totally.
and he's like a brother. But what was cool about that is we brought our kid with us, right? And so my kid, like, it's interesting you bring kids, right? Because my daughter she got into the Murmurcornos. That was her big thing for VeVe when she first got into VeVe. Sadly, not so much anymore. But her favorite content creators was My Collectibles and Superstar Money. She loved those two guys because MC used to do the Yoda thing with his iPad. She used to call him the iPad man. And then Superstar Money used to throw punches, right? And so every time we'd watch them and they were on every day, my daughter would clock me in the face. And I would never know when they would come. It's all of a sudden, whack! It's like, gotcha, Dad. And, you know, it's like, that was her favorite thing. So when she met them for the first time, she was so nervous. She hid behind my leg. I'm like, no, these are the guys, you know, they're the guys in pink, right? You know, the pink hats. But what was so cool about Joe and Rob, and Joe, Rob, and VeVe Vibes did this for her as well. They hung out with her for 1 hour at that party because that party was supposed to have kids there. Because I told Sanjay, I'm like, hey, is it okay if I bring my daughter? I don't know if that's a stigma for you guys. In Hawaii, we bring our kids like a lot of these places, right?
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, no, it's fine. He created a kids zone, right? Because there was going to be other families bringing their kids. And in my mind, I'm like, I've never heard of a project do this or a community member do this, right? Where you create a kids zone. Well, sadly, my kid was the only one that showed up because I think the other ones got sick. But the VeVe fam took care of her. Like for 1 hour, we knew where she was. She was with Superstar Money and VeVe Vibes, and all they did was talk to her, and really make her feel special, to a point where all we heard at the hotel room was, "Oh my gosh, Joey Rob! Oh my gosh, Joey Rob!" You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, like, oh, I met this guy named Vibe. Blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah, they're all so tall.
They're so cool. What was so cool about that was that family thing, right? They made her feel good, right? And so I wanted to really relate with you on that because that's something that really did happen, to a point now where my son, his favorite YouTuber, and he's in the chat, is Biggest Bro, because my son gets up at the witching hour between 4 to 5 in the morning here, and that's when VeVe drops go on. That's why you never see me during a VeVe drop because I'm sleeping. But when the case my son gets up and I got to change him, we turn on the Biggest Bro because the Biggest Bro will make my son sit. If anything else is on, my son will run around here like a crazy little pocket monster. But if I put on the Biggest Bro, he'll literally sit on the bed and watch.
And wave at him like he can see him.
And I always tell
we
Bro,
all do when Biggest Bro's on. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But if you ever see Biggest Bro do this, he's waving at my son because I said, just wave at the screen. Someone's gonna wave back at you, either on the replay or live. So,
and what's really funny too is he knows the intro song for the drop show. So when he hears that first part, he's like,
"What's up, bro?"
Like wherever he is in the house, if he hears it, he's like, oh.
He shakes his butt for the TRU drop show.
He just like dances. I'm like, oh my gosh, this kid.
That's awesome.
Too funny.
Yeah. So you're right. When it comes to family, another community that was really, really kind to my daughter was the DigiToys community, because she enjoyed the blind box and stuff like that. So besides the VeVe community, the DigiToys community was very, very kind with her. In fact, it was her birthday last year and the entire project came on because they knew that she was a fan, and they all unboxed cubes with her because it was her birthday. So stuff like that, like projects, that's very meaningful to get more people in. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that. The family thing is a really big thing if you want to get more people in here. And I think how VeVe's really done it is because of the collecting aspect versus you just said, like, you know, pure Web3 projects. Even though a digital collectible or an NFT is like digital art and it's a collecting type of mindset, it's not really like when you collect comic books or collectibles or TCG. It's different mindsets right there. That really is about community, right? Trading, bragging rights, you know what I mean? A competition. That's collecting versus like degenning into this NFT and hope price go up, right?
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Yes, and
So-
I've done a fair amount of that too.
we all
I think we all have.
I love the Web3 space. Like, it's just so fun, man. Like, there's so many random projects that pop up and so much hype and energy that goes to it. Like, sometimes I'll just dabble in it, just like expecting that it'll probably just go to zero. And if it makes more than that, then fine. But then, you know, you got to make sure you keep that to kind of a minimum, so you spend more of the resources on the substance. But yeah, I love the whole Web3 space. It's so fun.
It
It's
is.
never a dull moment, that's for sure.
No, never a dull moment, and there's always something exciting.
Mhm.
And let's talk about the future of the space, specifically on VeVe. And so let me give you an example. I got two more questions for you, by the way, and then I'll just let D rip. When it comes to VeVe, there are things that we have now, right? We've got the waitlist system. We've got MCP we can bid. We've got these great drops. They're doing different mechanics. They got these gleams, right? So what is something from VeVe that's missing? And I'm going to frame this question for you to kind of help you answer this a little bit better. One thing that I hope VeVe implements soon, and I feel like they're going to, is a blind box system, kind of like what Digitoys is doing or what the RWA markets are doing. If you've gone on like FANABLE or BZ's, they got gachapons and kiosks, right, where you spin. It would be so cool for VeVe to like implement a buyback program where you can submit a collectible back to them, right? And they utilize whatever they got back from us and they put it into a blind box machine. And then they also throw grails in there, right? And then you pay a fixed price, like 25, 50 gems to pull that lever to get something out of there. Who knows? You could get a partners, or you could get yourself a Peely Fantasy. But that would be really cool to do something like that. They have the supply to do it. They don't have to make anything, because guess who's got the supply to help them? Us. And I'm really taking a page out of Sergio and FANABLE. It's like if VeVe implemented something, a rule of attrition, Cosmo, where they take a buyback program, they take stuff from us, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly, and they fill it up, and then they put grails in there, and they give you a blind box, gachapon, pull the lever system. Would that be something you participate in?
I think I for sure would. That sounds super fun. Like, you just kind of participate and just hope you get lucky. I don't go heavy into that kind of stuff, but I definitely see myself pulling one or two once in a while. So yeah,
they could put physicals in it. Like you get the digital and be like, oh, by the way, if you got one of these, you're going to get mailed this, by the way. We'll keep it for you. If you want it, redeem it. You know, they could do stuff like that. It'd be really cool. So that's what I want VeVe to do. That is my wish of something they want to add, just because D and I are in the RWA markets all the time. We used to be heavy in FANABLE, and so like that type of business model, like everyone and their mom is getting into Pokemon, but it really, that business model, the RWA markets, you pull the gachapon machines, it's because of Pokemon. It really is because of that nostalgia, right? Yes. And others now are getting into that nostalgia because they're seeing price go up, right? So it really is us being here at the very forefront, at the very beginning, before others figure out price go up. And that's happening in Pokemon and the RWA markets. It's happening in One Piece. I truly believe it'll happen here in the digital collecting space. And if you have a mechanism to kind of get people to pull that lever right from the beginning to maybe win something because price go up, I think that's a really good business prop. And I know there's other people wanting to do that, right? Like I don't see a digital only. Well, I know, I think Pudgy Penguins is doing that with their cards, but having a digital only, digital collectible mystery box machine and really have the unboxing experience, right? Like see, like I don't know. Remember the blind box? It was it almost looked like that the Super Mario question mark box, right?
Yes.
Like just have that thing like unboxed itself, boom, and all of a sudden you would freak if you got a partners, right? Heck, you would probably even freak if you even got a Steamboat Willie, but something like that. They do that. Yeah.
Or because we have the green truck collectible, they could do like an animation, you know, when you're getting a delivery, like have the sound of beep, beep, beep. You back up the truck, and then the back opens. Voila! There's like whatever your thing is.
There's your VeVe Gold logo. But that's what I'm saying, right? The chase pieces, the gold logo, the partners. You got like Amazing Fantasy 15. You can't tell me people will not dump $50 to keep pulling and pulling. I'm looking at you, Rolex.
A brick bear from David's shop
You know?
in New Zealand. You know, brick
Yes, you see
bears
the
or
digitals,
all the
right?
stuff
Whoever's
there.
watching, please put that into the feedback button,
Yeah.
please.
No, that's a great
So
one.
many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's cool because they've really implemented like a lot of the things that I was hoping to see, and many of the things that they had initially promised, right? That we were like left hanging for a while, like, hey, when's this coming? When's this coming? And they've implemented so many of those early promises now. There's still a few more to go. And once some of these other ones get implemented too, that I'm interested in, I'm going to be so excited. Like for one is self-custody. Like I'm one of those ones that I do really feel that that's a very important thing. I've been fine with the VeVe business model as is, but part of the reason I've been fine with it is because I believed that it's been on their roadmap to eventually make them self-custodial. And with what CollectChain is building, it sounds like that's going to be happening. So I'm really excited about the prospects of that. And then also, I would like to see them do what some of these other projects have done, where you can leave your collectible that you bought off the market, if it's a blind box, unopened, right? And then if you wanted to later sell
like
it,
packs from candy.
And that way collectors get that experience too later on, where they can buy yours, and depending on how many secret rares or whatever, rarities are still left, it generally raises the floor of the unopened ones to beyond the floor price, and then they get that experience of being able to open one of these earlier collectibles, right?
Like a blister pack or a page puncher on a comic book, right?
Yes, just like if you were to open up or buy an unopened pack of Pokemon cards, and just that feeling of like, what am I going to get? Like, I think that holds a ton of value for collectors. And then another one too, I would say is I want them to gamify the levels within VeVe as well as the rank, right? Like they've talked about ranks having different privileges. And then the levels, I don't know what the early plans with those were, but I'd like to see some sort of gamification around that. And Foster seems to be hinting towards something around the levels recently. So I'm very curious what that's about.
It'd be interesting now that we're talking about things that we want to see. And this would be something so easy for them to do because of vibe coding now, is I would love to see just a simple game in here. You know what I mean? Like Pong or something. Just a simple game. You put something very simple and you put like a VeVe logo on it, or even it'd be cool because they could use their own IP, right? They already have Magic and MC and Eagle. And like imagine if you could play with those placeholders in like a little tiny cool game. Even a checkers or chess game, but you implement something in here, we'll play it. I'll play it. Like Snake, right?
Yes. Or even like how David, I think, has mentioned, like being able to use the assets in third-party games or things like that, and just so that all of a sudden you can bring them to life or give it utility, give you access to certain characters or race cars in games. Like that kind of stuff really intrigues me. If they open up that door and they can bring in game creators, and that would be so fun. That would just bring VeVe to a whole nother level in my mind.
Yeah, I think we're kind of getting there, because once again, I really believe digital goods will be the future. And if you really think about it, there's not a lot of people doing digital goods, or at least really coming out there and saying, hey, look at me. We're all digital here. Come check it out, right?
Yes.
So it's very exciting. And I don't think I ever would be a part of something like this, where it's like you're going to own nothing and like it, right? Because in reality, it's not tangible, right?
Yes. Yes, but it's so true. And that's where I think VeVe has really shined too, of bringing the phygital in. There were so few projects doing phygital portions. Like there's some, like you mentioned, Pudgy Penguins, like they've got their stuffed animals, they've got their plushies, and they kind of started a trend, honestly. A number of other projects started doing plushies to try to copy them, because again, they had built this real business model that brought in regular revenue, right? Like VeVe had done. And when VeVe started bringing in the phygitals with it, I was just like, I just love what they're doing. They're really kind of trailblazing things. And I saw VeFriends. That's another project I follow. Like they recently released a coin that you could buy. That's like a VeFriends coin. And I'm like, yep, David's done that already. Like we're on our second or third coin now. And
just picked it up.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Nope,
Yes.
just picked it up. Big fan of Gary V. Let's go.
Yeah. So just when I saw him do that, I'm like, yep, David's already been doing that. And he's been doing a whole ton of fidgetals. I'm like, he's just trailblazing in so many ways. I love it. And I'm not saying he was the first, but he's really done a ton of it, more so than I've seen at most other projects.
And I want to go back to the RWA markets because I've been able to onboard more people into Web3 because of the tangibility from those markets, and it's just making them understand what that means, right? Where it's like it's really a 1-for-1 where like this digital comic book really exists in real life in a vault, right? And really you are just using blockchain tech in order to present it, to do commerce on it, to transact on it, and once they get it, then they understand what we're really doing in here. And that's kind of how I've been onboarding people, is from the digital side. And I truly think that that is a good way to bring people in if marketed properly. And it's really taking off in the RWA. Like look at like Collect Crypt. I think they're like the biggest one out here and they're making bank. But people now are getting into this. They understand what an NFT is once they figure out what's going on. And once they understand an NFT and they go past the stigma of it's not that bad, they're going to go down the route of, well, what's next? What else is out here?
100%.
What's the next experience? Oh, wait a minute. This project has a DeLorean that I can blow up in my living room. Is that the Millennium Falcon? Or hey, is that Darth Vader playing in a video game? Stuff like that, right?
Yes.
You really just need a carrot to get someone to look farther. So I think anyway. But D, we've been chatting like a bunch of
Chatty
Portuguese
Cathy's,
here.
but
Chatty
that's what
Cathy's.
it's about. Yeah, that's what the show is about. Just go on tangents and share.
Well, I'm
your
passing the
experiences.
baton to the birthday girl. Go ahead.
No, stop. Well, my question was like, and you may have, well, maybe not. Like, on VeVe specifically, like, what is something that hasn't been dropped, but like, what if you could come up with like your own like ultimate dream drop or like a collaboration? Like, what would that look like?
And there's so many. Like there's the obvious ones like Pokemon or like big IPs like that. But one drop that I really do hope, I've talked to Dr. Collect about this, Foster, David and Dan directly, is I am a fan of the PFP NFT projects, and I would love for VeVe to drop a randomized trait, like 10,000 collection, just as like, which is standard across the Web3 IPs collection of something that represents VeVe, whether it's a character. I don't know if it would be an animal or a character or
like a mascot?
A mascot of something that has randomized traits that makes it easy to flex as your profile pic. It's got rarities, that you can really kind of flex and have that kind of drop. I would go heavy into a drop like that. That is one I really hope that they produce.
You make a good point, and I'm going to use DigiToys as an example. They've got 3 mascots, right? And they have lore tied into the mascot, tied into their project, right? And you're right. That is something that is missing here, because VeVe has been dropping their own IP, but mainly as in logos, right? And it would be cool to have like a mascot or something, whether it's because like DigiToys has the cat, the corgi, and the panda, right? What would be a good example for VeVe as a mascot? Like if you were in a boardroom with David, you and Dan, and you were the person to present the mascot, what would it be?
Yeah, I was thinking about, I was talking to O'Milly about this a little bit just over X, and I was trying to think if there's an animal, and what came to my mind was, I don't know if you've seen the Azuki project. It's kind of like an anime style project. It went big last cycle. I think the floor price got up to like 80,000. Or
are they the guys on Zeet?
What's that?
Are they on the Zeet project, Azuki?
Zeke, I don't know.
Are they the people that they're the ones who distribute the digital cards, right?
Well, they've started physical cards now. They've got their own physical card game. I don't know if they did a digital one first, but they are doing physical now. The Azuki art is incredible. It is oh my! I've got to send you a picture. I'll message you one of my favorites. But you look up Azuki on OpenSea. The art is incredible. It's an anime style. And I was talking to O'Milly, and I was like, collectors at heart is the slogan, right? And so I was like, maybe it's some sort of anime style, like randomized trait representing people, collectors, right? And so that was kind of where I went for it. It could also be a mascot, like an animal of some sort. I haven't come up with what I feel would be my preference there.
Is this it?
So, yeah. Look up the fire hair trait. There's a trait with fire hair. And dude, I'm bringing it up because the art, it's a rare one. You'd have to scroll down real far. You'd have to really look it up. But if you go to the hair traits on the side, and you'll find one with fire.
Spirit Fluffy.
Yeah, you could even go spirit, like the spirit traits are incredible.
Oh, here we go. I had to scroll more down. There, fire.
There you go, fire.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Almost like a Ghost Rider, almost.
Oh my gosh, there's a ton of traits in this collection that are special. The art is really, really well done.
$50.
And so
what's the project about? You've got me. Ooh, it's a guitar.
So my understanding, like I hold one. I haven't gone deep into like what the origins are. I really like the art. They were one of the biggest NFT projects last cycle. Like I said, I think they got up to like 30, maybe 40 ETH or something like that when ETH was like $3,000. Like they were extremely expensive. Or maybe it was like 20 ETH, but they were super expensive. I loved the art, and they had built their own comic books, I believed, and they were putting these characters into the comic books. And so you could see your character there in the comic books. I don't know that they gave royalties or anything like that. I'm not 100% sure, but now they've reached it one step further beyond the comic books. I think they're going like an animated show, as well as they've now come out with physical card game. And so they're reaching out to the broader physical world and bringing in real business revenues from that. But I just love the art. So that's kind of where my mind goes to when I think of like a mascot, is like a collector at heart, and coming up with some incredible art that goes along with it, where people are excited to flex what their profile pic is. Like
a young David Yu, but an Azuki anime look, right?
Yeah.
With the VeVe blue on it.
I love the boombox one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is dope. This is dope. I'm gonna have to check this out. You know, and I've seen this art before. Gosh, I want to say, didn't Kaido Dan have one of these from DigiToys?
No, maybe.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Maybe. They were one of those projects.
Yeah, I think so. Similar.
Yeah, they would evolve.
They were.
Oh, this one is dope.
Oh, that's cool. It's like, looks like maybe a rare one with the.
Wow. Buy it for $3K. I'll pass.
No, I know.
1.5 ETH. Yeah, sure. Let me just transfer that over.
Like if you go to, I forget what if there's a trait called Spirit, which is also like one of my favorites, and they're like super expensive, but I can't remember if it's like
Spirit Bob
or
that's a trip. Spirit Long. Oh, that's cool with the mask.
Yeah, there you go. Spirit. Yeah. So those ones are extremely rare. And like, last cycle, these were a major flex. And so they were like not up there with Bored Ape Yacht Club, but they were pretty close to it. Like they were one of the top 3 or 4 projects last cycle. And so I've kept kind of in touch. Those were one of those projects. Moonbirds, like my profile pick was another one. It got up to 40 ETH, and it was like $120,000 floor, like at the height.
Gee.
And these were some of the projects where I was like, oh man, if the bear market truly does come and set in, like I want to scoop up some of these if they get really, really cheap compared to where they were. And so I tried to do that, and it's been fun being part of those communities. But when I think of mascots, Azuki kind of comes to mind. So
that'd be cool. And I can't wait to see it. Now, when we're looking at the Azuki, is it a male or a female? I'm a big
both. Yeah.
Both. See, I'm a big fan on women being empowered in these types of things. That's why if you go and look at like of our original content, I really focus on women being the heroines in the original content. And so I would like actually to have a female actually as maybe the forefront of like, say, a mascot or a representative of the company, right? That would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd be totally down with that.
What do you think, Dee?
A lot of different ideas that can possibly come to fruition. That would be cool to have like a mascot community challenge kind of thing, where we put in our, come up with our own like art
Yeah.
or something like that, and just and have um, unbiased people vote and choose something. Um, that'd be really cool to get the community involved,
would.
because um, a lot of the
Ideas.
VeVe project is based on the community, right? So yeah,
I
that'll be
like
a
that.
really cool challenge. Make it so, David. If
That's
you're
a really good
watching,
idea. I like that.
yeah, make it a community thing, and it's so cool to see what people come up with, because you never know who's in the background. They're not, they don't put their stuff out there in on the timeline or out in public. But if it came to putting out your own creativity, like I'm sure people will surprise us on what they can do.
Yeah, it's true.
And mhm.
Well, can we did this once already. So I think it was like a few months back when Sergio was still at FANABLE. Both Sergio and Sloppy, they did their own outreach to create their own mascot. And actually, this guy created the mascot for FANABLE, Ronnie, which was the actual Flex, which is basically it's the alphabet, the letter F, but a superhero. And so Ronnie made their mascot and signed it off to them, and it's a bona fide mascot. So VeVe could do something similar,
Yeah.
and that would actually be a really cool experience outreach for community to say, hey, this person actually made our mascot, right? And we voted it on it. So that would be a cool thing. I like that idea.
Yeah, that would be cool. Make like an event around it. But speaking of community, I'm also really loving seeing all the different meetups and community events that's been happening this year. Unfortunately, we can't go to a lot of them, but
Bums us out because we're so social. Like we are
yeah.
like you're gonna run away from me. Like you're lucky you spoke with me for 5 minutes.
But yeah, I love seeing that, just all the different communities, because it's a lot of them that I've known before are like in California or New York. But then you have other smaller ones in California. There was one in Chicago. Then they're gonna have one in London pretty soon. That's where Oz is traveling to.
Yeah.
Then there's gonna be another one somewhere in Auckland, I believe. And it's just really cool to see. Oh, in North Carolina. North Carolina is gonna have one, and then also a one in Vancouver. So I just love seeing like all the different community members that we probably just hear on Spaces or see them, as a PFP. But when if they choose to come out and show their face, it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. It's like matching their names to, the face. And it's good to see all the different family members out there, like literally in all parts of the world. And I just love, like, right after the 5th anniversary last year, I feel like there's a lot more community focused stuff. So I really love that, because I'm all about people getting together and just welcoming others and just growing the community in general.
And we really encourage, like especially if we've interacted before online, right? Like a good example is Chris Evers reached out to us and said, yo, hey, I'm gonna be in Maui with my family. And like for us, it's like, okay, that's not that bad, right? Versus like, okay, well, Lanai would be, or Molokai, or all these other islands where you need to really do a hopper to get there. The mainstream ones isn't hard for us to really go and hang out. So like whenever VeVe fam comes down and they do give us a call, we'll meet them. I think On My Way was here, but it was just a bad weekend for us to go meet On My Way.
Yeah.
Because he also was in Maui. But yeah, we've met a few people as well, and it's been fun. We've even met some V friends down here as well. Living Aloha, he actually is on the same island with us. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's something that's funny, and this is going back to the old MC days during his chat. There's a bunch of people that I met in his chat that live on this island. And to go even a step further, the people that I met in MC's chat, I actually work with their mom. And I didn't know that until we were in the DMs. I'm like, wait a minute, that's your mom? You know what I mean?
Small world.
So it's a very small world, and it really shows how far community can connect, and you never know. Like D just found out there's a kid called Beast that lives on the same island as us, And I'm big
Yeah.
on the Kid Called Beast as well, right? So we're big on community. I love what they're doing with these outreach programs, and that's how you do it right there. It's very organic, and that's how you rope people in. Like Larry, Larry is a monster. Like
I
every
know.
time I see on CT, it's like, sign this guy up, sign that guy up. I'm like, dude, man.
Chilling and vibing with Larry.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and that's like, to your point, like that is one of the things that makes VeVe truly special. Is not only do they have like a meetup, but they are having so many worldwide. And there's a few projects out there that are having, a big, get together like once a year or maybe a couple of times a year. But VeVe's sustaining that all throughout the bear market with meetups. And honestly, for me, I had never, ever been to a Comic-Con before. And so all of a sudden I show up to like the Designer Con in 2022, I think was my first event. And then,
so we were there. We must
oh,
have
were you?
passed you.
Okay.
Not
It
seen
was
you
the
yet.
bowling alley one. It was the bowling alley one.
I
I
was
forget
there.
which year that was. So that was
See,
my
a drunk
first
Hawaiian. That was me.
Okay, perfect. So it was like that one, and then I went to the San Diego Comic-Con after that. Never been to the San Diego, and literally like the only thing I even cared about personally. There's all sorts of great stuff there, but for me personally, like the only thing I actually cared about was going to the VeVe booth, and that's pretty much what I did the whole time. And then I went to the New York Comic-Con, and then San Diego Comic-Con again. I went to NFC
Nice.
Lisbon last
Nice.
year, and
Oh,
that was
nice.
incredible. And I'm like, I would have never seen myself doing this ever for any business or project. And here I am traveling around the world for this, and I love it.
And that's cool because like what's the best place to go hang out with a VeVe fan but not at the beach, right? I've never been to Lisbon, but that's, I mean, we're beach people, so we kind of know what it looks like. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
I'm like, yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. And are you gonna go back this year again?
I'm not. I would love to. Can't make it this time, but I have to say I've never been to any part of Europe outside of Amsterdam. I went there once for work. So I went to Lisbon, and I was thoroughly impressed. It was like gorgeous, super inexpensive to like eat and go places, unbelievably economical. And then it was just gorgeous. And then the VeVe fam, like I would love, that's been by far my favorite event. It wasn't the biggest event, and that was special in its own way because we really got a lot of extra special time with like Dan and David. Like Dr. Stuff and I were riding in an Uber with Dr. Profit or Dr. Collect, Dan and David, and then Dr. Stuff and I. And we were just in this Uber for like an hour to one of the events and then back, and we were just picking their brain, and it was so much fun. I loved that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
talking
awesome.
story with these guys and just kind of shooting the shit. And I will always bring this up, D. So D had
What?
dinner with Dan.
Oh, come on. That was like 4 years ago.
That's not so we're gonna go back to Sanjay's party, right?
My gosh.
And so my wife disappeared for 1 hour. Didn't know where she went, right? But like I knew my daughter was with her. I thought maybe they went to go play video games, right? Because the video games were upstairs. And I find out that she was with Nas and Dan, and they had dinner like somewhere else in the restaurant where we couldn't see them, right, for 1 hour. And she didn't bother to tell me she was having dinner with Dan for 1 hour until the dinner was done. And I'm like, guess who I had dinner with? Oh, who? I thought, maybe Superstar Money. I'm like,
No, I
we're
sent you a
Dan's
picture.
brothers.
I sent you a picture.
Yeah, you sent me a picture.
You didn't check it till later. It's not my fault. You were
I
by
was
the
with
bar
VeVe
with the
Meister and VeVe
superstars.
Vibes, and those two tall towers were all trying to find her, and we couldn't. So, yeah, I will never let that up.
Oh, come on.
Amazing.
For 1 hour, my wife was missing. So
We were just having a conversation. We were just literally there, just eating. I was trying to get our daughter to eat her vegetables, and then
and Nas was there. That's even worse because I texted Nas like, "Yo, hey man, you seeing D?" No response, none. Right? Because he's with her. Right?
Oh, it's
oh
good.
shoot, my phone was on vibrate. So
No,
sorry.
it's cool though. But like those kind of stories you can have, right? And those are things that I'll remember. That first decon was always my favorite because that's really what kicked off this, live streaming, actually doing this and really going to the forefront with this stuff and really taking this stuff serious, right?
Yep.
And seeing where the tech goes, understanding it more, actually doing the homework on what we're doing here. And I really love what we're doing here. I really want to see where the space goes, and I'm all for it. I am the #1 fan all the way to the end, whether we go to the bottom or we go to the moon.
Yep. You know, I'm going to add too of what I'd like to see on VeVe for drops. I would love for them to drop some of these Web3 IP projects that have what's called CC0, right? Where there's no rights to anybody on their aesthetics. I would love to see them take some of those projects, like Moonbirds in my profile pic is one of those, where it's CC0. So they could use Moonbirds and create digital collectibles. And I think what a great way to bring in some of these IP communities and showcase and have a different way that they can collect an IP that they already love as well, and part of the community that they're a part of, and bring them in. Like there is one example of that right now on VeVe with the Nounish collectibles, the ones with the square goggles.
Yeah,
Nouns were a massive and still are a big NFT project, but those got to like over $100,000 floor price last year. And that's when I've scooped up a bunch of those Nouns goggles, both, some of the characters, but more specifically the goggles themselves. I've scooped up a ton of those just because I love it. I love that IP on the Web3 side. And I think that if they brought in more of those brands where it's not a conflict of proper, IP rights, I think it'd be a great way to be kind of extending olive branch to some of these communities to come check out VeVe.
And you can do something similar, like how Evolve's doing this with his Shopify, where an artist is allowing him to print their characters, and he's allowed to sell their characters through his 3D printer through his shop, right? So, I mean, obviously that's the physical, tangible side of doing it, but you could do that on the digital side way easier, right? Way beneficial for both parties, because like it's not a disservice for whatever that placeholder is to allow them to utilize that and distribute it in other means, because you're just promoting their product, right?
Yes. Yep.
And you're really and depending on how you deal with that contract or IP license that you get from them, allowing you to do that and distribute this product, you could say that you can do A, B, C, but not D, and D allows at least some protection of the IP, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's possible.
Yeah, I agree.
So I got one more question for you before we let you go, because we're getting close to the 2-hour mark. It's kind of crazy that it's almost 2 hours and you don't even realize it, right?
Yeah.
But I got one more question for you, and then I'll give the baton to D. But it's usually the same question I ask everybody, which is ask us what you would like to ask us. You can ask us anything you would like to ask us, as long as it's not anything to do with my social security.
Yeah, exactly. No, you would ask me what my favorite collectible was, and I'm sure you've talked about it on other episodes, but I'd like to hear it. What's each of your favorite collectible that you like the look of, and then the favorite one that you're trying to stack as many as you can?
Okay, so stacking, I've stopped stacking. I'm really kind of treating this like the 1Z, 2Z, 3s. Because mainly I've stacked enough in my time. I hold a bunch of comic books. So here, let's pull up my profile real quick, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on with me here. So where's the comics? Like, yeah, so I got 1,000. No, that's the sets right here. So 1,478 comics. So I'm more of the comic collector. So I've done my stacking. To believe it or not, the most stack I have is a Darkwing or Darkhawk. I collected Darkhawk in my meme token comic book. Right? So that's my meme of VeVe is Darkhawk. I think I own like 69 of those or something of that sort, right? Yes. But when it comes to my favorite collectible, and I've said it many times, and shout out to Charlie Fisher, I can show you right here, is this one. It is Fantastic Four #1. This is my Grail, or just specifically the Secret Rare. This is my Grail. This is the only thing that I consider as a Grail for me on VeVe, because this is the first family. This is really the comic that started the MCU, because if you look at every single superhero that came out of Fantastic Four, they're still coming out of Fantastic Four. We've had all the legends and legacies come out of this particular branding. These guys, right? Yep. The first family. And so why not own this as a Grail? So this is my favorite NFT digital collectible on VeVe. Now, if you're looking at nostalgia, it's this Battlestar, because this reminds me of when I started to date my wife. When D and I started dating, she was not into sci-fi. And on Fridays, I would never go out. I was that legitimate nerd that would watch Sci-Fi Fridays on the Sci-Fi Channel and not go out. All my friends knew I wouldn't go out on a Friday. I'd go out on Saturday and Sunday, but not Friday. And so it took you a while, D, to kind of get to that mindset. But once you got that mindset, Friday nights was our thing. We got to bond a lot. And this show was kind of what really got us to the bonding moment. She used to make dinner. I mean, she used to like make dinner to feed an army. It was just her and I. And we'd watch, I think it was Stargate, Doctor Who, and then we'd end it with Battlestar. Yeah. And then he and I would have like the longest conversations till like 4 or 5 in the morning just about life every Fridays, because after Fridays, we go sit out on our porch, we talk story, you know what I mean? And, you know, have a drink and stuff like that and really get to know each other. And so that's why this particular ship really means a lot to D and I, because of the time we spent together watching stuff.
That's awesome.
I hope that answered your question.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. And I'd love to hear yours, D.
So, yeah, besides the Battlestar, for that reason as well, I love my Wonder Womans, my 2 Wonder Womans, because first, I love DC. And Wonder Woman is also my favorite superhero. Well, female superhero. And I watched her since I was 7 years old. So, yeah, she's beautiful. The lady who played her back in the day, I thought she was like one of the most beautiful women on TV. And she's just badass. I mean, Gal, she's beautiful too. I mean, they're all beautiful. But yeah, Wonder Woman is my favorite, like, all-time favorite in the world.
Yeah.
As far as stacking anything on the app, I stopped as well. I think the one I had like the most, and it wasn't even a stack. I think I had like 5 or 7, which was what do you call it? First appearance of Mayday. Was it her?
Mayday Parker?
Yeah. I just love that cover. And so I think it was, I don't know which cover. Maybe it was Uncommon. I collected a bunch of Uncommons, hence why the Real Uncommon podcast from before. Yes, that one. Yes. So I had like 5 or 7. I think that's the most I have. What I do want to complete.
We have this in raw copy too.
Yeah.
Love that.
I do, like, hands down, in my opinion, Silver Surfer Black. All those covers are the best covers on the app. And I'm missing that stupid freaking secret rare, and I don't have it. It's always been like out of my reach. I save gems to go for it, and then I'm like, ooh, what's this thing over here? And so then you know how that goes.
So
She's talking about this one, right?
Yeah, so I have
that one.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
She owns it in real life though. I did buy her the real one, in a 9.8. So
yes, I do. Awesome. So I guess I do have the secret and physical, but I don't have a complete set. But I love that, just that all the rarities on that, they're all beautiful. I love the artwork.
Love that. I remember when the first Wonder Woman just went like skyrocketed in price that day. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have one. I was like crazy.
Yeah.
That's a good one now. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my pickups are from the market, and then when all the stuff was like just super, super low, I'm like, heck yes, it's like I can pick it up. So I got this one.
This bear market has been awesome for stacks.
She needs some attrition added to her
yeah. So those are my picks. And I'm still waiting for Terminator. David, you did have a Terminator. It was like a popcorn bucket thing, right? I think he had the head when he was on our show, I think last.
He had the chrome skull, and it was a popcorn bucket of the Terminator.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's confirmed, Terminator's coming.
And he pulls it out of nowhere. He's like, hey, check this out. I'm like, where did that come from? You know, this chrome head comes out of the abyss. You know what I mean?
that was cool. So I'm waiting for Terminator and gargoyles.
Oh,
whether in
gargoyles,
collectibles or I don't know. The comic came out already. But I'm waiting for the collectibles, because that was another show that I really enjoyed watching when I was younger. So I mean, I watched Ninja Turtles too, but we have those collectibles already, so they just need to drop gargoyles and I'm set. Yep, that's all.
If we're talking about collectibles, because I'm hoping someone from VeVe is watching, especially Eagle Eye, because he asked me this question on ships. This is the ship we're missing, VeVe. This one right here. Don't look at any other one, but this one. Just saying. Anyways, leave it at that.
Yeah, more ships. I mean, we have a lot of Star Wars ships and vehicles, but if we got other non-Star Wars stuff, ships and vehicles,
you watch me
that would
geek
be cool
out.
too.
I'll do a whole live stream on how that ship is built. So,
Awesome.
It'll probably be 2 people watching, but I don't care.
It'll be educational. That's what it would be. I would tune in because I don't know a lot about.
You got no choice, hon.
Yes, I know.
I know a lot.
This has been an awesome conversation, CryptoCosmo. I'm going to give the floor to you. Is there anything else that you would like to ask? You've got a bunch of people watching right now. We got 100+ eyeballs watching you. The floor is yours, my friend, before we get out of here.
Yeah, man. No, I just appreciate you guys. I appreciate the content that you put out. I've watched your show, and I love that you guys are just consistent with it. And I love that you're consistent with it when the hype left the space and you just kept going, right? Like, and there's been so many people in the VeVe fam that have done exactly that. And that's another reason why I've kind of gained a passion around VeVe, is because it really is around collecting what people love, and it's created this community. So seriously, thank you to you guys. I appreciate you having me on. I love what VeVe's building. I truly believe they're building something special. I can't wait to see things continuing to roll out and for this space to continue to mature, because it's going to be a fun ride as this continues to expand into the AR technologies like we spoke about towards the beginning. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, especially with all the excitement with Lispin, that's another thing I want to ask. I'm sure everybody wants to know, because we all looked that there are physical Pokemon packs that's going to be there. Now, speculation is out there, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll just say this. Pokemon is guarded like Lego, right? That IP is guarded so much by the IP holder. And I want VeVe to have it badly, or somebody in this space. And I would just suspect, like Lego, they would do a mutual press release if they were doing something with VeVe concurrently, because they're that big. Now, having said that, I know nothing. I'm stupid. Maybe I'm wrong, but what do you think, CryptoCosmo?
That would be amazing. First of all, yeah, I mean, like, I certainly would hope they could do that. And honestly, Disney did that with the Golden Moments, did they not? Where they kind of mutually talked about them and put it out there, and then they did the collaboration.
Pokemon a little bit different, though, my friend.
What's that?
Pokemon different. A little bit different.
They're different, but they're sizable. And so if Disney could do that, then I could see Pokemon doing something like that as well. I certainly hope they could, but I'm not expecting it, if that's what your question is.
Yeah, but if we're looking at who makes sense to release, I mean, really think about that. Out of all the project that has a distribution already established, right? In the end, it's all about distribution. How can you get these products out to the masses in an easy button type of way? And I don't know any other project out there that has an app already that's out there, that's actually improving, that has distribution. And what I mean by that, easy button distribution, although it's got to work better. The auto pay has not worked for me, but I'm assuming twice already hasn't worked for me, but it's okay. There's room for improvement. But my whole point is back to the distribution part. If you really want a seamless experience with distribution, I don't know any app. And I'm talking about app. You got to have both. Not just website, app that will give you distribution the way that VeVe's doing it, right? Yep. Now, when we look at distribution on the RWA side, I constantly say this, even though they don't have a lot of traffic and their trends are low, is FANABLE. They have a really good distribution with their app. People don't really realize how good and smooth the app runs. Now go and look at VeVe, right? Once again, besides maybe Pokemon building an app, what other Web3 project out here right now? Digitoys, they don't have their app out yet. McFarlane has no app. Candy has no app. So who is out here to distribute this product with an app? Right. There's only one that I know. So it makes sense to me, just for me, because I'm in communications. I've worked with a lot of product designers. And the one thing that I know about big IP, because I've worked with big IP like Lego, they guard that shit to the chest, to the point where it's like, if they're going to do something with it, they're going to be a part of it. So either they're holding it to the chest and they're not going to say nothing, or there really has to be something out there where they're both going to concurrently portray to the masses we are doing collaboration, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's not even just the app and the distribution, because you have things like OpenSea that has their apps that is heavily used, but it's that guaranteeing of the
I don't like
royalties.
the OpenSea app. It sucks.
Right?
It's hard to use.
I mean, but they just can't guarantee the royalties of that.
True.
And so that combination of both being able to distribute, and they've got proven drop systems that have worked for IP after IP after IP. So I think VeVe is definitely the front runner for something like that in terms of digital collectibles, for sure.
And you're right. The royalty part, I completely forgot about that. In fact, I mean, like, to a point where Tad talks about it with Metaplex, right?
Yep.
Royalty is very important. And so that's why, and I'm a big fan of what they're trying to do with the assets now that they're moving to collect. I'm a big believer in base. And I understand why maybe other projects went to other places, and maybe over time they'll switch. But I like the fact that they're going to embed royalties, whether it's at the application layer or somewhere in between, just so everyone's kosher from A to B. And that's really what will make this mainstream, right?
Yes.
You're absolutely right on the licensing. Besides distribution, it's cohesive altogether.
Yep.
So. And shout out to Kobe. I see you. We have some new memberships from Kobe. And this is what I love about when people do this. And shout out to him, because this is like the third time you've done it, Kobe. We got new members, O'Milly T's. We've got Jazzby. We've got Beskar Batman. Droid does. Shout out to Droid. I see you. And Lord
Pancakes. Isn't that
Lord
cool?
Pancakes.
The way they spelled their name is so cool.
Yes. But I love the fact that when someone gifts, we can see who's actually watching. That's kind of what I told you earlier, right? And so we appreciate everyone for watching, and thank you, Kobe. I'm going to have to hit your DMs later, because I'm really getting into Pokemon, and I hear you're the guy that has all the knowledge. When you got time.
He's got streams, and he's got a Discord too. You can join. It's super active.
Guys, I'm going to run this giveaway. D, run the show while I get this ready.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I appreciate you for coming on the show, CryptoCosmo, and just chatting it up with us. I'm glad we were able to do this and get to know you a little bit more, and vice versa. And yeah, whatever the next event is, for us, it'll be the Vegas one again. So if you're going there this year, we'll see you there. If not, we'll try to, not this year, I don't think, but maybe in the upcoming years, we can get out to more different locations. I've never been, I think Hinono as well, has never been to a Comic-Con. So I know, and we've never been to New York. So that may be on.
That's kind of where I'm hoping to take my wife next, is to New York.
New York?
Yeah. I don't know if we'll make it this year, but that's on my radar for sure.
Yeah.
It's tough for us. We're in the middle of a Pacific Ocean in a tiny rock. So the West Coast is a little bit closer. So
yeah. I mean, even like across into like Europe or Asia, that would be really cool to do as well, just to see all the people out there in those communities as well. German community, we've got people in Singapore, the Asian community, or even making it down under, the Southern Hemisphere. That would be so cool to go to New Zealand or Australia to have meetups like that. Yeah.
We are trying to plan a Hawaii meetup. That's something.
That's what I'm saying. You guys live in the paradise where I would love to go to Hawaii for sure. Like I said, my wife and I, we were just there in Hawaii last month, and we're already talking plans that we want to go next year on a big trip, and we just loved it.
So I'm going to tell you this. There is talks between creators to actually make this a real thing. It was supposed to happen during spring break, but I think we all got busy. But we are planning on talking about it, and there are a few community members kind of in that conversation. So if you want to be a part of that conversation, just reach out to D, and we will make you a part of that conversation, because it's something that we are planning on doing.
Yeah. I can't wait for that to happen. Just to because even outside of VeVe, there are people in VeVe that are part of other projects like Elmon X. There's
Oh,
there's a few people that are in both Elmonex and VeVe, and there's some that live here in the Hawaiian Islands, as well as someone that usually tries to make it out here at least once a year with his family. And so that would be really cool to just get like a whole like overall get together with, you know, all these people.
Sailing, submarines, volcanoes. And I'm not lying on any of that. So
amazing.
Snow. Well, if you want snow, you can have snow too.
I think they'll do without the snow though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, true. They'll go to the beach. But yeah, that'd be cool to make happen. It's in the works.
It's in the works.
Soon, maybe not this year, but who knows?
CryptoCosmo, did you enter the giveaway?
Dude, I mean,
yes, you can enter.
I'm gonna give it to somebody else. So I'm just not gonna enter. I'm not gonna enter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to give us your ETH wallet because we're going to send you a digital collectible from the Real Uncommon podcast days.
All right. And well, thank you.
These are relics. So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, good luck. We're going to run this giveaway. And then before we leave at the end, we'll play the writer if you guys haven't seen it yet. But good luck, guys, for the random VeVe digital collectible. And shout out to VeVe for sponsoring the giveaway tonight on the stream. Let's see who's going to be the winner. And good luck. Ronnie Lido.
Ronnie.
Those hands are for you. I'm not sure if they're watched, but
Ronnie, are you still here? Oh, he
congrats.
just entered not too long ago.
Yeah, he's there. Shout out to Ronnie.
Yeah,
and Dee is the facilitator of the giveaway, so she'll handle all of that, guys. Don't come to me for the giveaway. I suck at it. So, but guys, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much. If you're watching now or on the replay, final words from my friend CryptoCosmo, and then we're going to get out of here.
Yep. Big thank you, guys. This has been a real pleasure. Had a blast. The time just flew. So fun to get to know you guys. Thank you again to the VeVe fam. Love being a part of this community, and thank you again.
All right.
Awesome.
And then
enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoy your weekend, whatever you're doing. I hope it's nice and relaxing and you just get to chill out. No work, no stress. As well as the people watching and just being active in the chat. Always appreciate everyone for supporting us and supporting everyone else in the spaces. And just hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah.
And thank you, Hinano.
Of course. And then before we go, I'm going to play this at the end, and then the outro will play right after that. So I want to thank you guys for coming, hanging out, and chilling with us tonight. Also, CryptoCosmo, there's a revolving door here. If you ever want to come on just to hang out, or if you want to interact, or if you ever want us to promote anything, just let us know. It's not a problem. We want you to feel like you can always come back here whenever you feel like it.
Love it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to play the movie. And then we're going to get out of here. You guys have a great evening, and we'll catch you guys next week. D, should I tell them about the alpha or no? No, I'm getting the no. Oh, my gosh.
Wait, no, you're not. No. It's like, wait, what else? Oh,
okay. No. There is some alpha, but I'm not allowed to tell you.
Not yet. They'll see it when it comes out.
But we will have a really awesome guest next week, so stay tuned for that. Without further ado, here's the movie, and have a good weekend, guys. And CryptoCosmo, you can hang, you can stay. It's really up to you, my friend, but we really appreciate you for being here with us today.
Perfect. Yes, thank you. I'm going to bounce. Thank you.
Peace out, guys.
Have
we
a
love
good
you.
One.
Peace.
It's time. Can you feel it? It's the end of all things. It's the end of the universe. Oh, yeah. You can't delay the inevitable. It's here. It's now. Welcome to the end of the universe.
Hey there, stranger. Rough night? You look lost. Can I get you something?
Killer!
The ruined skyline stretches under a blood-red sky, crumbling towers and flickering neon barely holding the world together. 5 years ago, Earth was invaded. And it was all his fault. Jake, the rider, was the scout chosen by the visitors from beyond the stars. He was the one sent to watch us, to signal when the time was right. The wind still carries the ash of that day across the Badlands. He regrets it every single second of his existence. In the chaos of the invasion, he met her, Lisa, a fierce waitress in a lonely desert diner. She almost perished that night until Jake unleashed his alien power and saved her life. That single act changed her forever. They fought side by side through the fall of Earth. But 1 year ago, deep in the lawless Badlands, they were ripped apart. Now the desert whispers her name. He's been searching ever since, riding the broken highways, chasing every ghost of a trail. And tonight, he's getting close.
Lisa, it's you. Are you okay?
Jake. Is that really you? Where the fuck have you been?
He's in trouble. The brothers cook for sure. She's gonna get the world on fire, and he's gonna feel her wrath. Let's celebrate the